We're now on the top of Daf Ayin Daled Omid Beis. Toner Rabbanon. The Gemara is going back to the din of Ab Mishnah Mekadesh Isha Menashe Elo Aleh Nedarim, and then she has Nedarim. Or is Mekadesh Al Menashe Elo Aleh Mumin, and she has Mumin. Eina Mekudeshes. Toner Rabbanon. Holcha Eitzel Chacham V'Hitira. What happens if at the time of the Kiddushin she really in truth had Nedarim, but she went to a Chacham and he was matir the Nedarim? So the Brisa says Mekudeshes, the Kiddushin are valid. Okay, now here we're going to get into the sugi called Chayshina Lekilkala. So in this case, she's Mekudeshes. That's fine. However, it's a rofe in the case where she had movement at the time of Kiddushin, and she went to a physician and he was able to heal her movement, because Eina Mekudeshes. Then in that case, and we don't know the difference between the two, but in this case, the Kiddushin is not valid. So this has to do with the concept of Chacham Matius and Neder Limafreya. Ma bein Chacham Lirofe, Chacham Okeres and Neder Mikaro. He can remove the Neder retroactively, and therefore, according to the halacha, it's as if she never had Nedarim, and therefore there was a kiyuma tonight to Shas Kiddushin. Again, even though she had Nedarim at the Shas Kiddushin, but those Nedarim, as it turns out, were removed and invalidated with Mafreya. But Rofe Eina Marafel Mikam Lahava. So at the time of the Kiddushin, she had movement, and she fooled him, so to speak, and she indicated that there was a kiyuma tonight, and therefore Eina Mekudeshes. So the Gemara asks a kasha on this brisa from another brisa. But Tanya, we have another brisa that says that if a man was mekadesh and isha menashe l'adam b'hol chetzel chacham v'tira, and who had been the same din applies, it's a rofe v'ripa osa, eino mekudeshes. You see, this is the sugya of Chayshina L'Kilkula. What happens in this case? If she goes to a Chacham and she's matir the Neder, if we're going to say that what? If we're going to say that the Kiddushin is valid, then he could really mess her up badly. Why? Because we assume that since there was no kiyuma tonight, she had Nedarim, the original Kiddushin is not valid. She went ahead and got married to another man. And now if we're going to say that through the Heter Chacham, the original Kiddushin is going to be valid because there was never really a neder, so then any children that she has from the second marriage will be mamzeret. Amar Rav lo kasha, harabi Meir, v'harabi Eliezer. The brisa that says that if the Chacham was matir ha nedarim, then the Kiddushin are valid, that reflects the shita Rabbi Meir. We'll see Rabbi Meir soon. But the brisa, the second brisa that says Eina Mekudeshes, that's the shita Rabbi Eliezer. But where is this machlokas between Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Meir? Ha Rabbi Meir. This is the Rabbi Meir that we have in mind, which is reflected in the first price. So the Omar Adam Rotzish Tispaza Ishto Bezdin, that a husband is not makti if a woman, his wife, will go to a chacham to be matir his neder. I'm not sure why the Gemara uses the word bezdin, because a chacham matir neder is not within bezdin. But in any event, so therefore, if she goes to a chacham to be matir on a darim, she's mekudeshes because the Baal is not makti. So in such a case, the kedushin is valid. That was the first price that we said that Eitzel Chacham B'Tir Mekudeshes. That's Rabbi Meir. The second price that invalidates the kedushin, that reflects the shita of Rabbi Eliezer. And what was the shita of Rabbi Eliezer? Ain't on the rotza shittis bazi. So man does not want. He's makted that a woman, his wife, should not go to a chacham to be makted on the darim. And therefore, when he was mekadosh al tnai she'ein oleh darim, his intention was that under all circumstances, if she has Nadarim, he doesn't want the Kedushin. His Tanai indicates that he doesn't want the Kedushin, even if she'll be makir by going to a Chacham, because he's makir that she should not go to a Chacham. So therefore, we have the second brisa that says that both in the case of Almanasha Ema Chalai Nadarim and she was makir Chacham, and in the case of Ema Chalai Mumin, Ela Mumin, and she went to the Rofe, Eda Mekudeshes. So the Gemara says, Maihi, where do we find this Machlokas Shin Rabbi Meir Rabbi Elazar in this logic about whether a man is makir that she shouldn't go to Bezdin to be makir or not? It's not. We learned it in Mishnah. Where's this Mishnah? Hey. Gittin mem heyamid beis, hamotzias ishto mishum neder. She was what's called an oderes, a nadranis. She was accustomed to take nidarim, and he can't live with a woman who always takes nidarim. So he throws a get, and he says, "That's it." Now he has a change of heart, and he decides he wants to remarry. Although Yachs, the Rabbanan said that it's also for him to marry her again. And the same halach applies in a motzi mishum shemra, right? There were rumors going around that she had an adulterous relationship. He gave her a get, lo yachzir. He can't remarry her. Now again, the reason for this is because of chayshinu l'kilkula. Why is it chayshinu l'kilkula? Because if he remarries her, just one second, what's going to happen? I guess it means that people will think that she was always married to him. It's not a new marriage, but rather he, how should I say, disconcerts. How do you say that in English? He's not concerned about the fact that she has nidarim. Let's see what he says here in the footnote. Gemara Gitni Shtei Deos Shtei Lashonos Ma'alet Halacha. Yeshom Shekoshin Shema Achar Shetinose Pelech Lechacham. V'yatelos Enido. She's Parish Allah's Shlususei Minacha. V'yomer Abal She'im Hayo Yodea. Lo Hayom Agash. It's a get bottle in Mafreya, but now that's the cure. So again, if we allow him to remarry her, then people will say that the original get that he gave her was not valid, and any children she had from another husband will be mamzer. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, kol neder sheyodu bo rabim, lo yachsi. If she took the neder in the presence of, we'll see a machlokas whether it's 3 people or 10 people, that's b'fnei rabim, and the Baal now divorces her because of her nedarim, because the neder that she cannot be matir, lo yachsi. But if it's a neder shel yodu bo rabim, which she could be matir with a chacham, because it was a private neder, not a public neder, yachsir, then he's allowed to remarry her. Why? Because such a neder could be uprooted, invalidated, and the Rabbanan are making a concerted effort here with a knas to avoid cases where a woman will take nidarim. So they were very makpid, the Rabbanan. They made a knas in the case where she took nidarim flippantly in public. And that's something the Rabbanan don't want to tolerate, because such a neder is so binding that you cannot uproot it even if you go to a chacham. But the Rabbanan were less concerned about a woman who takes a neder shelo yodu bo rabim, which lends itself to ataras chacham. And if a yachzir, they would not impose a knas on this woman, which would make it impossible for her to remarry her original husband. Rabbi Meir Omer, kol neder shetzorech hakiras chacham. If a man divorces his wife because of a neder, and the neder is such that only the chacham could be matir. Rashi says to either Pesach or Charota. So in such a case, there's no afaras habal. Now this means that a Baal could only be made for a certain restricted category of nidarim that she took, which is called nidarim beino leveina, or nidarim of inui nefesh. And this is derived from a pasuk in Parshas Matos called neder b'chol shvuas isur lanos nefesh ishoyi kimenu v'ishoyi firenu. And later on in the Parsha of Dorim, it says, Eila chukim asher tziva Hashem es Moshe ben ish l'ishto. And the Gemara in Dom Peites, Ayin Tes, derives from these psukim that a Baal could only be made for his wife's Nidorim if it was either Nidre Inu Nefesh, like she won't eat, or Dvarim Shebeino Leveina, regarding Tashmish Shamita, but not with other Nidorim. So Meir says that if she took a neder that's outside the purview of those 2 categories that he can be made, that the husband can be made for, and that's called in the language of Rabbi Meir, shetzarech hakiras chacham. Only a chacham can be choker v'dorish the neder and come up with either a charata or a pesach. Is then lo yachs. Then we're going to impose a knas, and we're not going to allow him to remarry her. Because in such a case, the Baal could always claim that if he would know, had he only known that the chacham would be matir the neder, he never would have divorced her, and then he could be mekalkel children if she got married to someone else. But the she'ena tzricha chakiras chacham, in a case where the Baal could be made for because it's var beino beino nefesh, then yachzir, he's allowed to remarry her, because here there's no chash kilta. He himself could have been made for the neder, and he didn't do so. And here there's a girsa problem, but let's skip the parentheses. Amar Abu Lazar, lo asru. Sorry. The Tzarech is referring to this Rabbi Meir's statement about a neder shetzarech hakiras chacham, in which we said lo yachzir, because he can be mekalkel. Elo mipnei she'eno tzarech. Omer Abu Lazar. Abu Lazar turns to Rabbi Meir and he says, the exact opposite should be the case. Lo asur elo mipnei she'eno tzarech. What's the logic now of Rabbi Elazar? He says that if the Baal could be Mayfair, again, lo asu ella mipnei she'eno tzarech. Meaning what? If it's tzarech and you need chakiras chacham, then there's no reason to prohibit him from remarrying. When they prohibit her from getting remarried to him, that's because of a neder she'eno tzarech chakiras chacham. Why is that so? Oh, he says in the footnote, summarizing Rashi and Gittin, Sheba'ofen zeh habal yochel lomer she'ilu hayadeh shehu yochel lahofer. He's going to claim he didn't know that he had the authority to be made for a neder, and had he only known, he never would be megarish. And now he can be mekalkeler and say the original get was a mistaken get, and therefore she was an Eishes Isha Zin, so the children are mamzerim. If, on the other hand, it's a neder she'eno yochel lahofer, which only the chacham could be matir, eno yochel lomar, the exact opposite of Rabbi Meir, she'im hoyodeh shechacham yovo latiro lo yamagashim, shum she'eno m'rotze she'tispaze ishto v'bezdin. He's not believed to say that, oh, had he known that she would go to a chacham, he would have remained married to her, he never would have given a divorce, because a man does not want his wife to go to a chacham. And then we're going back to the original statement of Rabbi Lozer, I think it was. Yeah, Rabbi Lozer that said, "Ain't on the road to Shittispazi Ishto V'Bezdin," which makes sense because here also it's Rabbi Lozer. So the Gemara asks, "My time of the Rabbi Yehuda." Right, Rabbi Yehuda was the one who said that neder shehuda al das Rabin in front of Rabin, which doesn't lend itself to hafara, lo yachzir. So that was a knas because she flippantly took nidarim, and the most severe of all nidarim. And how do we know, says the Gemara, that if she took a neder in public, there's no heter for such a neder? The Ksiv, now we go to the Pasha of the Givonim, and here we turn to Daf Ayin Hey. V'lo hikum b'nei Yisrael ki nishvu lehem nisiyei ha'edah. Right, they had taken a shvua that they would allow the Givonim to remain alive, even though the Torah says lo sechai kol neshama. So the question is, Bnei Yisrael decided not to destroy the Givonim because they had taken the shvur. Why couldn't they just go to a chacham and be matir the shvur? And it must be because a shvur that's taken publicly does not lend itself to afar, and therefore they couldn't be shown on the shvua to be matir. And now the Gemara is going to ask what kind of shvua or neder was taken by Rabin, what constitutes Rabin, and that the neder we'll pick up tomorrow. Okay then? Thank you so much.